Sounds good. And meanwhile, Eric, joining me now for more on what we can expect in the final 16 days of this race are Kevin Sheridan, a former senior advisor to Mitt Romney's campaign and former communications director for the 2012 VP nominee Paul Ryan, and Matthew Littman, former speechwriter for Vice President Joe Biden and former for the Obama campaign. Good to see both of you.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
Okay, Kevin, I'll start with you. I want to start here with the undecided voters. How important are they to Donald Trump? What points does he need to press in the next 16 days in the likelihood of Trump staying on message and ultimately netting a sizable chunk of the undecided voters?
Well, for undecided voters, Donald Trump, I think, has always had the stronger message just in terms of pure political message. In a year of change, he is the change candidate. He was going to come to Washington to destroy the status quo. And he's running against Hillary Clinton, who's been around for 30 years, has very few accomplishments, and is a self-dealing insider who's wrought with corruption from her foundation. If he had stuck to that, and if he does that over the next 2 weeks, his numbers could improve. The problem has always been that he gets sidetracked on issues that undecided voters especially, don't really care about. They don't want to hear about him suing his accusers. They don't really want to hear about a rigged, the rigged polling stations. If he sticks to his core message that he has changed and that she is the status quo, I think he can get back to within striking distance.
All right. Well, Matthew, let me get you in here. And is Hillary Clinton so far ahead in the polls and electoral votes that she can, sit back and wait for Trump to get in his own way, not stay on message? Or does Hillary Clinton need to continue to campaign in earnest so she doesn't appear that she's even now sort of planning how she's going to redecorate the White House?
Well, yes, she shouldn't appear as if she's going to be redecorating the White House. That's true. But also, at this point, Hillary is so far ahead, Trump really can't win. He doesn't have a shot. But at this point, it's about the enthusiasm of getting people to vote for those Senate races and those House races. So Hillary does have to campaign hard. Trump obviously can't stay on message from one day to the next. So that's not really a concern. So while Kevin may be offering him good advice, Kevin, I'm afraid he's not going to be taking your advice.
Let me take a look at the latest Fox electoral map projection. Excuse me. Looking at Florida, it's leaning towards Clinton. You've got 29 electoral votes there. Iowa leaning towards Trump. 6 electoral votes. North Carolina, it's a toss-up with 15 at stake. Ohio, also a toss-up with 18 electoral votes at stake. Kevin, getting back to you now. Most politicos predict that without Florida, which is another biggie, 29 electoral votes, as I said, Donald Trump cannot win the election. Senator Marco Rubio, he's not able to put his full-throated support behind Trump. And with 15.4% of the Hispanic voters in Florida, 39% of them voting for Mitt Romney, as you well know, in 2012, can Trump win Florida?
Well, he's got a problem in that he's going to need a national surge to get back to within, very competitive in those kind of states. No, he does not have a path without Florida, really. He needs Florida. He needs to change the dynamic of this race. It's very difficult to do now, however, that the 3 debates are over. There's no more national moment that he's going to be able to do that in. So he's going to have to jettison all the other stuff that's been distracting his campaign, focus like a laser on his message. The second half of, the majority of his speech yesterday in Gettysburg was pretty good. I mean, it was what voters want to hear, I think. If he can stick to that, and if Hillary can have some bad moments in the next 2 weeks, who knows? Maybe this thing can get close again.
Well, Matthew,
let me just jump in on that, Arthel. Let me just jump in on that, because Trump hasn't been able to stick to his message for 5 months. He started out trying to talk about the first 100 days of a Trump administration, which obviously isn't going to happen, and then talked about how he's going to sue all of the women who have been talking about his sexual harassment, right? So he can't stay on message. He hasn't stayed on message for one single day for 5 months. There's no reason that'll happen over the next couple of weeks. Also, there were 3 debates. He lost all 3 debates.
Well,
there is not another opportunity in the next 2 weeks.
But there's still 16 days to go, so there's still time in this campaign. And I think most people out there watching, they don't like hearing politicos saying it's over, Hillary Clinton's going to win, forget about it, don't even bother. It's kind of not fair to the whole process. So, Matthew, closing with you, since I started with Kevin, what can we expect from Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail in the next 16 days?
Well, I think what you're seeing the last couple of days, which is Hillary talking about Senate and House candidates, and trying to bring up those candidates so that she has a majority in the Senate. When she gets in, Democrats aren't going to take the House, but they can get very close in the House, and that's what's needed for a Clinton administration.
Okay, I leave it there. Matthew Littman, Kevin Sheridan, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We know